Donovan, I'm the Chief Financial Officer for Smith Transport. I'd like to welcome all of our drivers, employees, maintenance associates, and guests to the Smith Transport 3000th truck celebration. So welcome everyone. We have a few guests and a lot of people that helped Barry reach this pinnacle that we would like to introduce to you. First, Mr. Dan Girouard of Hope Valley, Rhode Island, U.S. Army retired. Thank you for your service, Dan. We really appreciate it. Dan is the epitome of a professional truck driver and has been with Smith Transport since 2007. Today, he will be assigned the 3000th Smith Transport tractor as a reward for his achievement of being named our 2018 Driver of the Year. Thank you, Dan. Dan is also a member of the Golden Eagle Million Mile Club, and we are proud to have you on our team today, Dan. Thank you. Mr. Ed Smith, which is Barry's brother, and Ed takes care of the buildings and grounds maintenance for the company. Hello, Ed. Mr. Tommy Smith, Barry's uncle. It's great to have you here today, Tommy. Tommy has been an executive at Smith Transport, a professional truck driver, and an owner-operator during his over 55 years in the trucking industry. So let's give Tommy a big round of applause. Mrs. Beverly Cayley is with us here today. She has 38 years at Smith Transport, and she's still going strong. Behind me is Mr. Jeff Hunter, CEO of Hunter Truck Sales, and he's a member of the Board of Directors of Smith Transport. Yep. Mr. Richard Skolton, also a member of the Board of Directors for Smith Transport, and Dick has been a long-time advisor to Barry. Attorney David Romani of Romani and Romani Attorneys. He is the Secretary for the Smith Transport Board of Directors and also a long-time advisor to Barry. David, are you here? Mrs. Allison Smith, wife of President and CEO Todd Smith. Welcome, Allison. And last but certainly not least, Mrs. Karen Smith, wife of our founder and chairman of the board, Barry, and all the Smith family that's here today. Thank you all for coming. So this 3000th truck purchased by Barry Smith for Smith Transport. Wow, what amazing achievements and accomplishment. Barry, did you ever with Smith Transport?
Didn't then, right? But still
Dreaming. It's a dream. But truly, without you and your unselfish willingness to take risk, borrow the capital to purchase 3,000 tractors, and to lead this company for nearly 40 years, none of us would be here today. I believe I can speak for everyone here when I say thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and we sincerely are grateful to you for what you've accomplished. Congratulations. So let's talk about the number 3,000 for a minute here. So if a professional baseball player hits 3,000 hits within his career, then he's a shoo-in to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame. In August 1783 in Paris, France, the first hydrogen-filled balloon flight ascended to a height of 3,000 feet, a new world record at the time. Imelda Marcos, former First Lady of the Philippines, once boasted she had 3,000 pair of shoes. And in the battle, in 1836, at the Battle of the Alamo, the Mexican army, with 3,000 soldiers, defeated a small force of Todd, help me with this. Texians?
Texas.
Texians, they called them, not Texans, but Texians, as I did my research, in one of the most famous battles in American history. In 1975, Bill Gates and Paul Allen sold their basic computer software program for $3,000. The next year, they started Microsoft Corporation, and we all know what happened then. And finally, if one of our professional truck drivers achieves 3,000 miles per week average, we consider him an elite driver, and his reward usually is to be offered the assignment of a Peterbilt. So it is truly fitting that this 3,000th truck be a Peterbilt Model 389, the iconic truck that the Smith Transport brand was built on. So I thank you again for attending and being here today and help us celebrate this milestone in the history of Smith Transport. Now, I'm going to turn it over to Jeff Hunter, CEO of Hunter Truck Sales. Jeff?
Welcome, everyone. It's quite an honor and a pleasure to be here, especially seeing that Peterbilt behind me, since I'm a Peterbilt dealer that delivered it. I had the pleasure of meeting Barry almost 30 years ago. And from that day, we struck up a great friendship, relationship, working relationship. And what a gentleman and what a visionary and a true American entrepreneur. And as we all sitting here, whoever thought we'd gone from one truck to 3,000 trucks. He bought the first one for our Lancaster store, great old salesman that's passed away, Davey Ocker. And when I called Barry to tell him he'd passed away, he told me a lot of great stories about him, and that's just Barry. He has a time and a heart to talk to everybody at any time of the day. And serving on the board here is quite an honor. It's one of the highlights of my career. And then the last thing I have to say is you guys are all in great hands with Todd Smith taking over with Barry. So with that, I'd like to hand the keys to Barry Smith, and thank you.
I'm still in a daze, so forgive me for that. But, no, 3,000 trucks. Used to have friends come and saying, "You got one truck today. What do you keep thinking about?" Well, thanks to Uncle Tommy there, he got me my first truck. That was a little C1000 Ford, and we do have it sitting aside today, or one like it, I should say. But the next one was, like Jeff said, a new 372 Peterbilt in 1972. That was quite a truck for me, and quite frankly, it cost more than a house back then. You know, I didn't know where the next dollar was going to come from, but I took a chance and thought I'd go for it. And put a lot of miles under my belt, following him around. Tommy usually took the front seat wherever we went, and for many years we peddled freight all over New York City and Philadelphia, and places that we don't hear drivers wanting to go today. But you know what? That mattered to the Philadelphians and the New York people and our people here. But as I think back, all the many people that's been close to me and doing what we've done, I got to thank each one of you for all of that. As I look around, I see a couple of you hiding behind the tire racks back there. Johnny, you can come out back and step up a little bit. But there's many of you there, and you know, we got people that go back, like some of our drivers, 82 years old, is still here today. And Tommy and I trucked with him back in the early years, but it's just so many things like that. And as we look at, you know, generations of what we've done, it's really mean a lot to us. But our drivers are key, and each one of us have a job today because of them. And you know, the vision we've had with being a driver and the experiences that we've really looked up to and tried to accomplish. You know, every mountain we climbed. But my motive is there isn't one too high to climb if you just stay focused. But as I look around today and see everybody here, you know, we got to remember that. But to all of you that really play an integral role every day of what we do and directors, managers, vice presidents, and we've come a long way, and I just can't say enough of thanks to each one of you for being a part of that. But I guess it's time for me to pass these keys over to the guy that can pay for it here. I'm going to rely on Todd to take that role and then pass it on to Dan. But thanks again, everybody, for being here. We look forward to many more wonderful things to come. So thank you.
Barry, a couple things before I talk about the truck, the 3,000 truck, our driver, and so forth. I want to welcome our new class of drivers that came in this week. Hopefully this inspires you to see what happens at Smith Transport. This is not a trucking company, this is a family. And we really mean that, so welcome. Barry Smith and I got introduced to each other about 15 years ago, and I was buying a trucking company back 15 years ago, and during that transaction we had a financial advisor. I had a financial advisor hired, helped me kind of go work through the financials of this transaction, and he ultimately introduced me to Barry. And so I've had the pleasure to talk with Barry for 15 wonderful years. Over the years, we've exchanged a lot of best practices and those types of things. So I really got to know Smith Transport over the years just through that interaction, talking with him quite often, sharing numbers, those kinds of things. And it really inspired me to come to Smith Transport. So 15 years ago, when I first got introduced to Barry, did I ever imagine I'd be standing in the maintenance facility in Marion Springs, Pennsylvania, with the honor of truck number 3,000? Not my wildest dreams, but I'm so thankful that it was put together. So very thankful. Second thing is that before I pass the keys over to Dan, our driver of the year from last year, this is quite an honor. And Mike said it quite nicely, is that to go from truck number 1, which I understand Mr. Smith over here drove number 1 and also number truck 100. To go from truck number 1 to 100, I mean, think about that. Think about the risk that you take as an entrepreneur, the stress that you take, the sleepless nights that you take, the pressure of meeting payroll, the pressure of paying your fuel bills. I mean, it's tremendous. And to think about going from 100 to 3,000, right? That is a huge accomplishment that Barry has taken, and it's because of that, like Mike said, that we all have a career at Smith Transport today, and not just today, but going into the future, because we fundamentally believe the future of this company is quite bright, and it's because of the foundation that Barry and all of us that have been here for a number of years, the foundation that was built, because it's very solid. This truck behind us represents who we are at Smith Transport. It's the trucks, it's the best of the best. And Peterbilt was in this week. We were put in what they call the First Class magazine, and they do 4 magazines a year. So if you think about it, the last 10 years, they pick 40 trucking companies, and they do business with thousands of trucking companies. And they only picked 40 in the last 10 years. We're one of 40. And to me, that's quite an accomplishment that Barry and team at Smith Transport we've put together. We're going to be put in this magazine as a featured trucking company and a success. One of the things they said to us yesterday was, Barry, how did you guys make it through the 2000s? So many trucking companies that were growing rapidly in the 2000s, in the years 2000, they're not here today. They went out of business. To me, that speaks volumes of the culture and the values of this organization, because as long as you stay true to your values and true to your culture, you can survive anything. So I congratulate all of you that have been part of this business for so many years. You did it right, and continue to do it right, and good things will happen to you going forward. So congratulations on that. So with that, it's my honor to pass the keys to the guy that's really going to pay for it, our professional driver. And our professional driver here, let me just say a couple things about Dan. He's been with us 14 years. He was our driver of the year last year. Been married for 34 years. He enjoys riding Harleys, and he's got himself a nice lake home that he says his wife and family enjoy more so than he gets to enjoy. But Dan is the type of professional driver that makes Smith Transport strong, and we're so honored to have him on our team and continue to see him on our team. And he's going to represent this truck quite nicely. I guarantee you're going to turn a lot of heads when you go up down there with this bad boy. This is this truck here. For those of you who don't know, Smith Transport plus or minus about 800 trucks. On any given year, we'll have about 50 to 75 or so 389s in our fleet. But a lot of people say to us, why do you keep buying those expensive 389s? And it's because our professional drivers have earned that. And it's the brand, it's the image of this company that we will continue to always have 389s in our fleet. I think we're buying 30 new ones next year, but they are more expensive. They're spec'd out, it's about as nice as you can get, and it's a very nice truck. But it's a truck that you earn. It's not given. And Dan certainly earned this truck. Dan, congratulations.
Once again, thank you. You know me, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I gotta go. No, I want to thank everybody, for being here, and everybody that's, helped me out. Everybody that is here has helped me out. And the next thing I want to say is, I already got told I better have cases of wax, cases of polish. I better stay clean. And alcohol. I appreciate everybody that's helped me, like I said before, I don't know how many times I can say it. Thank you.